Hi, welcome to your next Blender tutorial. This one is on basic editing. We have our cube to start off with. If you hit Tab, you'll switch between object mode and vertex mode. We'll deal with this a little bit later, but you should know that there's two modes. It says edit mode or object mode. Make sure you press Tab when your mouse is in the window. If I'm in another window here, Tab won't do anything. I have to be in the window. And that's the case with most commands. If you hit the N key, we can numerically transform the object. So suppose I want this at X location 3. Okay, so there's 3. Red is X, green is Y, blue is Z. And by convention, Z is going to be upwards. Let's change Z there. Now we can see that the cube is off the plane. And so we can do location, we can do rotation, we can do scaling. So now the cube is more of a prism. But let's reset everything. And we're back to our starting cube. Another way of transforming is to use G, S, and R. And this is G is to grab and move, and hit spacebar to accept it. You can hit Command Z to undo something. If I hit G again and move it around and I don't like it, I can just hit escape. You can hit R to rotate. Again, this is relative to your view. So if I move my view a bit, now I'm rotating this way against the plane. Okay, if I rotate back towards this direction, if I rotate, it's kind of perpendicular to the plane, the view plane, I mean. And finally, we have S for scaling. And here we're just scaling the whole object. It's not in any particular direction. Another way of manipulating the object is if we hit this widget button. And the widget button is off, the widget button is on. You can see that these options are available when it's on. So here you just need to grab the arrow to move in a particular direction. Or if you just use the right mouse button, you can move it arbitrarily. Again, Command Z will get you back to the undo. So that's for direction. Here we can click on rotation. Now we're not rotating against the view plane, we're rotating on a particular axis. So you just grab the color of the axis that you want to rotate about. Or if you grab the white one, it'll be against the plane. And we can also do scaling. You can scale on a particular axis and press this button to turn off the visual transformations. Typically you want to use conventional units. I would treat the X, Y, and Z as meters. That way when you're working in a group, you will be able to do everything in a consistent unit basis. You can always scale an object into your scene, but it's better to do it correctly the first time. Here we have our tool shell. You can turn this on with the T key, turn it on and off with the T key. But again, you have to be in the window. Otherwise, if you're over here, it does nothing. T key, in here. If you forget the keys, you can just use these buttons to manipulate your object. Okay, it's boring to play with a cube, so let's add some objects. This cursor is where you'll be creating your objects, so click your cursor somewhere. You can add from the menu, or you can add with Shift-A. Let's add a cylinder. Again, we can place the cylinder precisely by using the numeric. And 0. And if I rotate my view, you can see that we are on -1 and 5. If you're editing vertices, you'll want to be in unshaded mode. With unshaded mode, it just makes it easier to select vertices. You can duplicate an object by hitting Shift-D, and now I have a secondary object. And hit spacebar to accept the position. And this concludes the basic editing tutorial.